This is the Dollemore Daily, and I'm Jesse Dollemore. How many times, I love stories like this, how many times have conservatives, Republicans, people like Dan Bongino, in an effort to own the libs, tripped all over themselves and fallen flat on their faces in humiliating fashion in an effort to propagandize, to spread misinformation, disinformation, lies. And look, I don't know much about Bongino. I don't know much about the little guy, but I can tell you, he's not a real smart one. I'm going to read a little bit from this Daily Beast article. Dan Bongino faceplants in attempt to own unhealthy libs with fake graphic. Fox News attempted to clean up Dan Bongino's mess by removing his erroneous graphic during a rerun of the program. Because facts, well, one, they have no ability to understand the most basic of data. You don't need to be a statistician to read Wallet Hub and their analysis of the healthiest cities in America. That on the top of the list, well, we'll just spoil it here. On the top of the list, the higher your score, the more healthy the municipality, according to their analysis. And Dan Bongino goes on the air and says the exact opposite while citing the study and showing the cities, but telling a different story. Because he knows his low information audience isn't going to look into it. They're just going to take his word for it. Gross. Reading from this Daily Beast article, Fox News host Dan Bongino aired an inaccurate graphic attempting to make the bogus correlation between quote-unquote unhealthy U.S. cities and those governed by Democratic policies. During the Saturday evening Unfiltered segment, casting liberals as unhealthy, Dan Bongino presented a graphic reading Top 10 Most Unhealthy U.S. Cities. Yet it turns out there was one big problem with Bongino's thesis. Wallet Hub, the website the Fox News host cited for the graphic, clearly stated in their research that the metropolitan cities referenced, including Seattle, Portland, and Washington, D.C., among others, are the healthiest places to live in the United States. Bongino riffed to his audience about inner cities run exclusively as monopolistically by garbage Democrat politicians who don't give a damn about people, while the inaccurate graphic appeared on the screen. Now, it should not go unmentioned or unnoticed that this is a racist dog whistle. Of course it is, coming from Fox News and Dan Bongino. Inner cities is code word for black people. Yet another attempt by Fox News to malign people of color, to further marginalize people in our society, to otherize. Inner city. The remarkably erroneous graphic, which aired throughout the segment, also mistook Irvine, California, the city from which I just moved, for Irving, Texas. Absolute moron. Of course, that didn't stop the Fox News host from taking continued swings at Democrat-led cities based on a false premise. The network attempted to clean up late Saturday night by removing the graphic during a rerun of the program. Bongino didn't return the Daily Beast request for comment on Sunday morning. Following publication, a Fox News spokesperson told the Daily Beast that the network intends to issue a correction on the next weekend's program. They're going to wait a week to say, hey, we screwed the pooch here. Yeah, Don Bongino is a moron who doesn't understand basic reading and writing skills, and we're going to correct it next weekend. This is the statement. On Saturday night's episode of Unfiltered with Dan Bongino, a graphic was aired with inaccurate information on the unhealthiest cities in the country, the Fox spokesperson said. We regret the error, which will be corrected on next week's program. The Fox host admitted the segment was based on a comically wrong graphic. Yeah, he blames his staff. He's blaming other people. That's similar to someone we know who cannot ever take blame and just apologize for their mistakes. Great, Dan Bongino. The Fox News host admitted the segment was based on a comically wrong graphic during his Monday afternoon podcast. It was just totally, completely wrong, he added, blaming his staff. Totally, completely, almost comically wrong. And here, again, are the stats, and I'll read from the webpage. The Wallet Hub data here. To determine which areas prioritize residents' well-being, Wallet Hub compared more than 180 of the most populated U.S. cities across 44 key indicators of good health. Our data set ranges from the cost of a medical visit to fruit and vegetable consumption to COVID-19 cases. And then as you can see, clearly the top 10, 11, 12 cities here are all healthy cities run by Democrats. It is a shocking and regrettable and perplexing thing that the most basic of information that could be understood and discerned by someone who is in a position of power to communicate ideas, they can't do it. Or is it malicious and sinister and they're lying? Given Bongino's track record of being a dumb, I believe it's the latter. I believe it's sinister. I believe he is trying to spread disinformation and misinformation. That's why he has been booted off different social networks, because he is a disgusting charlatan, snake oil salesman liar, much like Donald Trump, much like Rush Limbaugh, for whom he took up the mantle of radio broadcasts after Rush's death, the racist charlatan grifter. Unfortunately, in America today, Fox News holds an outsized influence in the minds of millions of Americans, many older Americans who are prone to conspiracy and apparently bigotry, because that is the main source of trafficked information by Fox News. I'd love to know what you think. You can sound off. Leave me a brief voicemail, 714-576-4054. Of course, you can email me daily@dollemore.com. Follow me on social media. That's also a decent time, a place that you can yell at me and tell me how wrong I am. Happens a lot. And if I bring you value, if you're not one of the ones who wants to yell at me and tell me what a POS I am, you can support my work by clicking the join button below, becoming a channel member for as little as $1.99 a month, or you can click on over to patreon.com/IDoubtIt podcast. Both those are great ways to support my work, help produce my work here on the platform. I would appreciate your support in the effort to grow this operation into something great. I love you guys. I appreciate you so much. Thanks for engaging with my content, and thanks for being good people. Until I see you next time, be genuine. Take care of one another.